Hello and welcome to another video. Today we are doing NASCAR news, I guess. Moving on. Okay, so first off, I gotta get this. Look at this. We've got the script. So first off, the Bristol Dirt truck race was the first time since stage racing was implemented that the same three drivers finished in the same spot 1, 2, and 3 in each stage and in the race. Logano, Majeski, and William Byron, Joe Logano, Majeski for information, were 1, 2, 3 in the first stage, the second stage, and the finish per Bob Parker's. Moving on to some sad news, Justin Owen died in a USAC crash on Saturday night. That is very unfortunate. Prayers to his family. And yeah. Moving on, OCO tweeted out this: how to make an entrance, you bring croissants. When Kairos went into the media center with a bunch of croissants, it said, ladies and gentlemen, members of the media, may I have your attention please? The croissants are here. So yeah. And then next up, the Kyle Kush has arrived per Preece, which is a t-shirt. I might get that myself. Moving on, Tony Stewart was the first of the 25 new drivers that will be inducted into the 75 greatest NASCAR drivers. So it was 50 in 1998, now the NASCAR is 75 years old. They are adding 25 names to that list, and Tony Stewart is the first one. Anyways, Tommy Baldwin is joining Rick Ware Racing as a competition director per NASCAR on Reddit. Next up, the Able Motorsports Indy Next team and the father and son pairing of Neil and O.C. Anderson are understood to be working together to give Anderson another shot at the Indy 500 in what would be a 34th entry for the 107th running per racer.com. Moving on to some driver news. Chad Fincham is back for more when NASCAR's in the short track action, this time at the Paperclip Martinsville Speedway. On track action begins next weekend, Friday, April 14th, per NBM Motorsports. Moving on, Napa Auto Parts says it's satisfied with the way Chase Elliott's injury situation has been handled. Kevin Herron, executive at Napa's parent company, it's a few-week blip in a long-term relationship with Chase and Hendrick, and he'll be back driving pretty soon, per Adam Stern. Next, IndyCar remains in talks with state and local leaders in Wisconsin and Milwaukee about possibly bringing a race back to Milwaukee Mile, per people familiar, per Adam Stern. So anyways, first page is done. Only 3 more to go. Next up, NASCAR Race Day is back for 6 more race weekends in 2023. It will return at the Coca-Cola 600 next month. Other tracks are Atlanta, New Hampshire, Bristol, Texas, and the Charlotte Oval, per Dustin Albino. Moving on, Bobby Labonte will be in the Fox Sports booth for Martinsville, and then Tony Stewart will be in the booth for Talladega for NASCAR on Fox, per Bob Parker's. Next up, so Chase Briscoe during the Cup race at Bristol Dirt. On Thursday, he broke his finger and raced with a brace on his finger. This injury occurred at a dirt race on Thursday when he had his wheel turned and then he hit the wall. He will have surgery next week, or now this week, but he's not expected to miss any races. He said the brace was working better than expected, per Bob Parker's. Moving on, it's safe to say that Truex's team will tell him if they put on scuff tires in the race. Truex said all was good between him and crew chief James Small, per Bob Parker. So basically what happened was, during the Cup Series, they said Richard, James Small, crew chief of Motor Trucks, had poor strategy, and they had 6-lap scuff tires. Meanwhile, everyone else had fresh 0-lap tires. which are way better than 6 laps. Scuffs and Truex, who should have gotten a top 5 in that race, ended up finishing 11th. Moving on, Kevin Harvick has been advocating for appeal hearings to be streamed so everyone can watch, and he's not surprised at Denny Hamlin losing his appeal. Harvick also said bragging about it is not the way to go. That and winning. It and win. Per Bob Parkus. So yeah, I agree with that because like they can change appeals and not the appeals panel. They can change appeals and not tell anyone why at all. So yeah. And then J.J. Yaley discussed Denny Hamlin's apology, having Matt Kraft as a teammate and more per fun stretch. So basically, first off, Matt Kraft drove the 51, which is normally Cody Wersey, but that's another video for later today about the supposed personal matter, but it ain't good for Cody Ware. Second of all, during that Richmond race, Denny Hamlin, who got a speeding penalty, was in the back of the pack and spun out J.J. Yaley. J.J. Yaley's a backmarker. Denny Hamlin's one of the best drivers and is just driving for the best team, so yeah. Next up, Kyle Busch said that KBM will not appeal the 10-point penalties issued to the truck teams for engine oil reservoir tank encasement violation. He said he didn't think they would win and quit, and it isn't in the budget to appeal. The trucks of Nick Sanchez, Chase Purdy, and Jack Wood all were penalized 10 points for that infraction, as it was found after the truck race at Texas. And then, moving on, William Byron was asked about how his car was among the ones chosen for further inspection after Richmond, and as a random selection, he said, "You tell me, doesn't look very random, does it?" So basically, it's supposedly random selection, but NASCAR could just pick cars that they want, and they were angry that Hendrick had won an appeal of a penalty in the rule book, so they took 2 Hendrick cars to the R&D center and found they were just looking for something to penalize them for. Next up, so there was a Thanks Ross meme where pretty much any incident in the world was blamed on Ross Chastain, because of an interview with Christopher Bell where Bell called Chastain the wrecking ball. Bell later apologized for that. And Ross Chastain was apparently laughing at the Thanks Ross memes, and Christopher Bell said he doesn't think he and Chastain have a problem with each other per Bob Parkus. Moving on to our next story, Kyle Busch was surprised that Denny Hamlin's penalty was upheld and explains the decision not to appeal the penalties to the KBM truck's 10 points oil reservoir tank encasement per Bob Parker. So what Hamlin was penalized for was he put Ross Chastain into the wall of himself and later said that he intentionally did it, and NASCAR penalized him for it. And Brad Keselowski and Denny Hamlin on the team owners skipping the team owners council meeting this week per Bob Parkus. I did not see those, but what happened was that all the NASCAR team owners, every single one, walked out. Like they skipped they boycotted a team meeting, a team owner meeting. So yeah, I don't think that is showing a potential split, but it is kind of terrifying to think about. But yeah, no. So, Denny Hamlin on changes to the appeals panel procedures, his appeal, and penalties to Hendrick teams this week. So, I didn't watch that with that interview that Bob Parkus did with Hamlin. But yeah. So yeah, moving on. And next Friday is exactly 6 weeks since Chase Elliott's its accident. The team has informed its week plan, and there's optimism he'll be back soon. However, no indication yet that he'll return for next week, and at Martinsville for a track required significant braking with his healing left leg, per Bob Parkers. Moving on. Chase Briscoe took ownership of getting into Ryan Blaney on the final restart. Says it's the second year in a row he's made a dumb move late in the race. Added that he thinks there will be payback, per Dustin Albino. And then Dale Earnhardt Jr. was asked on not trying to make the All-Star race in North Wilkesboro, and he said, "My Cup days are long gone," per Bob Parkers. Next up, after Hamlin's appeal was upheld, Hamlin had an emergency podcast responding to his to the appeals panel upholding his penalty, per Dirty Mo Media. Next up, Marcus Smith said yesterday, well now that's a few days ago, that he anticipates Speedway Motorsports and COTA agreeing to have a race in 2024, which is an option on Speedway Motorsports' agreement to lease the track for the NASCAR weekend, per Bob Parkers. Next up, Kyle Larson said, "We don't need to be racing on dirt, per Front Stretch." Moving on, I figured we could. Kyle Larson, after contact with Ryan Preece on the Bristol Dirt race that ended his night early, said, "I figured we could just be grown-ups and get the insert F word over it, per Noah Lewis." Next up, I will not swear on this channel, well, unless it's a pure accident, just so you know. Next up, Speedway Motorsports President CEO Marcus Smith said no decisions have been made about whether the spring Bristol race will be on dirt next year, per Bob Parkers. Anyways, that will do it for this video. Thank you guys for watching. This is the Sports Cat, well, now the NASCAR Cat, I guess, and I'm signing off till our next upload. Peace.